Okay, let's just jump right in. What if I told you there's a tech revolution happening right now that could literally make human programmers a thing of the past? I'm serious. We're about to dive into a whole new kind of AI, one that's so powerful, so autonomous, it's being built to completely rewrite the rules of software development as we know it. And no, this isn't some far-off sci-fi plot. This statement you're looking at right now, human coders will become relics. That's the core idea from the material we're breaking down today. It's a really bold claim, right? Almost hard to believe. But the sources say a new technology is being engineered to do exactly that. So the real question is, how on earth do we get from here to there? Well, this whole uprising, as the source material calls it, unfolds in 5 key stages. Think of it like a roadmap. First, we've got the anchor. That's the brand new AI at the heart of it all. Then, the setup, which is the global shift that's making this possible. After that, we'll do a deep dive into the system itself, the autopilot. Then we'll look at the angle, the money side of things, the sovereign economy, and finally, we'll explore the future, this so-called coderless world. All right, let's start with section 1, the anchor. You know, every big revolution needs a spark, right? A piece of tech that's so disruptive it just changes all the rules. For this one, that spark is a totally new generation of large language models. So at the very core of all this is a new LLM called Takane. And listen, this is not just another chatbot. We're talking about an enterprise-grade powerhouse built on Cohere's Command R+ architecture. Fujitsu has fine-tuned this thing for just incredible precision, especially when it comes to the nuances of the Japanese language. That makes it perfect for industries where you absolutely cannot afford to make a mistake. And look, the proof is right here in the numbers. These are Takane scores from something called the JGLU benchmark, which is basically a super tough exam for Japanese language AI. And as you can see, it absolutely crushes it in both understanding meaning and grammar. This isn't just good, it's the kind of surgical precision you need for serious, high-stakes work. But here's the thing, all that power is useless if you can't actually deploy it easily. And that's where Fujitsu's first big trick comes in. It's called one-bit quantitation. The simplest way to think about it is like a radical compression tool for an AI's brain. It takes all the complex, chunky 32-bit numbers that make up the model and shrinks them way, way down into simple ones and zeros. And this chart really shows you what that means in the real world. A huge AI model that would normally need, say, 4 powerful GPUs to run can now run on just 1. That's not just a small improvement, that's a total game changer. It means you can suddenly run incredibly powerful AI pretty much anywhere, not just in some giant expensive data center. But here's the most incredible part. They shrink the model size by a whopping 94%, while it still keeps 89% of its accuracy. That is insane. You get this massive gain in efficiency with almost zero trade-off in performance. This is the technology that makes it possible to have powerful AI running on, factory floors, or even someday, your phone. Okay, so this amazing tech isn't just happening in a lab somewhere. We have to zoom out a bit because it fits into a much bigger global picture. What we're seeing is a huge shift where entire countries and big companies are starting to push back against being dependent on just a few big tech giants. And this whole movement has a name: sovereign AI. The idea is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It just means you build and control your own AI systems on your own hardware inside your own borders. Why? So your data never leaves. It stays safe from foreign laws, and it gives you, whether you're a country or a company, complete control over your digital future. And you can see why everyone's doing it. This move away from the giant cloud providers, it's all about strategy. You're dodging data demands from other governments. You're making sure you comply with tough privacy rules like GDPR in Europe. You're locking down your valuable intellectual property, and you're protecting yourself from getting stuck with one vendor or getting caught in the middle of some geopolitical mess. So we've got the tech foundation and we've got the global stage set for it. Now we can finally get to the heart of this whole thing, the Fujitsu Autopilot system. And believe me, this is where the idea of getting rid of manual coding really starts to take shape. So how does it work? It runs on something called an agentic DevOps loop. It's basically a cycle that runs itself, completely on its own. An AI agent starts by planning the work. Then it pulls any info it needs from the company's internal files. After that, it actually generates the code and all the settings. Then it deploys it all. And finally, it sits back and monitors everything to see how it's doing. The key takeaway? Humans are intentionally designed out of this process. And the brain running this whole show is super, super efficient. Remember that quantization trick we talked about? Using that and other techniques, Fujitsu cut the amount of GPU memory it needs by 70%. That's huge. It means these powerful AI agents can run efficiently right there on site, which is what makes this whole sovereign autonomous system actually possible. Okay, so this leads us to the fourth part, the economic angle. Because let's be real, this isn't just about cool tech, it's about money. This is a massive strategic business move that completely changes the financial equation for AI. Just look at the difference here. On one side, you have the old cloud model. You're paying crazy fees just to move your own data around. You're stuck with one provider, and the pricing could change tomorrow for no reason. But on the other side, with the sovereign model, your costs are predictable. You buy the hardware, and that's it. No more paying to access your own information. It's a totally different world. And when you look at it over 3 years, the savings are just staggering. The sources are talking about cutting the total cost of ownership by 40 to 60%. I mean, you're basically cutting your bill in half. The long-term financial case for switching to a sovereign system becomes, well, it's pretty hard to argue it. And I think this quote from the source material just nails it. It's about transforming AI from a rented commodity into a fortified strategic asset. That's the whole idea right there. You stop renting your AI from someone else and start owning it as a core piece of your strategy that you control completely. All right, which brings us to our final section, the future. We've looked at the tech, the global politics, the economics. Now let's talk about what happens when you put it all together. What does this coderless world actually look like? So the timeline laid out in the material is fast, really fast. The platform launches in 2026. Just 2 years later, by 2028, the plan is to have these autonomous AI agents working inside governments. And then by 2030, the job of a software engineer, as we currently understand it, is projected to be obsolete. Now, that doesn't mean humans just disappear from the process. Instead, a totally new kind of job emerges, the sovereign architect. This person isn't down in the weeds writing code. Their job is all about high-level strategy, about setting the rules and telling the AI what to build, not how to build it. It's a huge shift from being a builder to being a designer, an architect of intent. And that leaves us with a really big, provocative question to end on. Because this isn't just about who writes software anymore. The sources suggest the same technology could one day draft regulations, maybe even run parts of our civic infrastructure. So if AI starts writing not just the code, but also the laws that shape our lives, what is the role of humanity in all of that? It's a heavy question, and one worth thinking about.